I love music. Thank you. Today I'm supposed to be talking about naturally divine. Who knows what will actually come out of my mouth? I know that I prepared to speak about naturally divine. And yet, I also know that because I am who I am. Oh, do y'all know who I am? I am love. I am joy. I am the unique, unrepeatable, magnificent way that God shows up in human form. And I'm not saying that from a place of being conceited or big-headed or that I'm the bee's knees or the best thing since sliced bread. But I know this about myself because I know that that's your truth too. That the person sitting in your seat is awesome, brilliant, magnificent. That the wisdom, the joy, the abundance, the peace, the power that God is, aka nature, is, you are. I am. It's nice to meet you. Why do we forget that? Why do we forget how awesome we are? What's that about? Why do we go around talking like, I'm only human, of flesh and blood, a man? Why do we go around thinking that we're just human? Or the other extreme is, why do we go around thinking that we're it? That we're the it. Meaning that we rule and dominate. What's that about? Why do we ask questions like, what does it mean to be human? Why are we not asking questions like, what does it mean to be a donkey or an ant or an armadillo? That's a good place to, that's a good place for the gong. It is, thong. It's like, what causes us to forget the truth of who we are? That we live in the extremes of, because we are human and we have the capacity to think that we are the number one creation of all of creation. Or that we're just these lowly, good-for-nothing flesh people. Well, y'all seem kind of quiet, so I guess y'all don't know the answer to that. Let's take a look. I'm going to go down the road that we forget. And everybody do this with me. We've done this here before. Take your hand and wipe your brain, and with the thumb up like that, we forget. We forget the truth of who we really are. The truth of who we really are is that we're naturally divine. that we are part of the divinity of the one creative power and presence. You see, in Science of Mind, in this philosophy, which, by the way, it's a philosophy, this is a way of living. In this way of living, we teach that there's a power, a presence, a life that has created everything. And as I like to remind myself, it's the only thing happening, and this power and presence, this infinite intelligence, this prana, this Atman present, this Om, did not have a little warehouse down the road and said, oh, let me go create something. But it was the only thing happening, therefore it created everything out of itself. And everything has its living and being within the contents of God, of spirit, of life. Therefore, everything is naturally divine. Therefore, that which is true of God is true of you. But sometimes we get to this place where we forget the truth of who we are, and we think that we're these lowly, good-for-nothings, or we think that we're so superior that nothing can touch us, or that we don't smell from time to time. When the answer of our living is somewhere in the middle. That we know that we are part of divine nature. That a whale, that a donkey, an ant, an armadillo, that our beloved four-leggeds, whether they be a furry cat or a canine, that too is the unique and unrepeatable way that God shows up. But it's interesting that as we've been looking at the theme of nature, the thing that sets human beings apart from all other life is that we have the power to destroy. And with that power comes much responsibility. Because we don't have to destroy. We can actually use this opportunity and have our intellect create the life that we crave. And nature is giving us its lessons all the time. Nature works in harmony with one another. The force of nature does what we call sometimes destroy or level out certain things, only to recreate out of itself something more magnificent and beautiful that actually is in divine order. You know, I'm reminded of a cute story of a parent and a child. They were in the mountains on a hike. And of course, the child is just so enthralled and so captured by nature and just running around up ahead of their parent, and they fall. And they go, ouch! And they hear, ouch! Who is that? Who is that? Forget you! Forget you! You're stupid! You're stupid! And the loving parent comes to tend to their child. I said, honey, you okay? Yeah. What was that? Well, that's an echo. An echo? Yeah. It's an echo, beloved. And an echo gives you back exactly in the same tone, in the same inflection, in the same voice, that which you give it. Watch. You're wonderful. You're wonderful. The child hears. You're amazing. You're amazing. The child hears. And the reason that I love this story in particular with the idea of nature is that it is our divine nature to create. So what are we creating? And where are we creating from? Am I creating from this place of love, of compassion, of joy, of peace, of power? Recognizing the divine community. Because what I know about nature and about life is that life is always going to give me back. It's always going to echo back to me, exactly what I give it. So breathe with me in this moment. What have you been yelling out to the world? What have you been putting out there? The natural laws of life give you back exactly in the same tone, in the same feeling, in the same expression, that which you place into it. So, are you saying, there's not enough? There's not enough. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. We're never going to have a new minister. We're never going to have such and such. I wish it was like the old times, the good old days. The echo will always give you back what you're putting out. So because we are naturally divine, and that's a huge responsibility not to be taken lightly, it means that right where you are, you have the power to create. Remember that which is true of spirit, of infinite intelligence, of the divine is true for you, and it's actually true about everything. Mahatma Gandhi says not to lose faith in humanity, because even though humanity hasn't necessarily caught up, or as they say in today's culture, even though humanity is not woke, yeah, I hear you, it's not woke yet. Do not lose faith in humanity, because humanity is naturally divine. Instead, what are the steps necessary to recognize your own divinity and to recognize the power that you have at hand? Thank you. Who said that? Thank you, Bertha. Spiritual practices. What are your spiritual practices? Now, I know we have a few real estate agents in here, and their motto, or one of the things that they say is location, location, location. Jewel by the sea. Location. Beautiful location. Lush, ocean, breeze, beautiful people, great atmosphere. Spiritual practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice, practice, practice. What are your spiritual practices? What are you engaging in on a regular basis and practicing and practicing and practicing, so much so that it becomes a way of living? Again, this is a philosophy. This is a way of living. You don't come here on Sundays and get absolved and, pay a tithe that the more you pay, the more freedom you have. It's not like that here. This is about encouraging, calling forth, reminding you to engage in your spiritual practice, that you might awaken to your spiritual magnificence, that you might know that you are naturally divine without anybody having to tell you so. I know my mom likes this one commercial. It's for some medication, but actually, it actually could be for meditation. I don't even want to say the name of the medication, but the woman is walking around, and she's just walking around all joyous, and the life is good, and everything is coming together for her highest good and her best good, and life is wonderful. That's what happens actually when you engage in your daily spiritual practices, that life automatically comes and goes, and that you're living in the moment. I live where my feet are planted. And if I'm sitting, I'm living and present where my bottom is planted. And that's a result of meditation. That when I allow myself to just let the thoughts go by and bring my attention and focus to my breath, recognizing that my life is naturally divine, remembering and calling forth, reminding myself that I'm the unique and unrepeatable way that God shows up in human form. And that when I know that for myself, I know that about you. So then how am I going to treat you? Like the bee's knees, like the divinity that you are. Because I know that about myself, and I get to know that about you. I engage in spiritual mind treatment. So for those of you who are ready to actually dive in, there's a class starting. I'm not teaching it, but Reverend Juanita's teaching it, Sylvia's teaching it, and they know what I know. And because they know what I know and I know what they know, they're going to share that with you and begin to develop a daily spiritual practice that awakens your natural divine self, so that you stop living in mediocrity, so that you stop just getting by, so that you stop just biding your time until it's time to go to glory and greater glory, so that you live and thrive today. Don't let this moment be wasted, beloveds. In other words, what I'm saying, if you've invested this time, because it's Sunday morning, if you've invested this time to wake up and get dressed, shower up, get a little perfume on for us so you smell good, and, you dolled up and got all handsome and If you did all of that to come here and not take away something that's going to benefit your life, this has been a waste. Don't let this time be a waste. Have this time be an inspiration. Have this time be a motivation. Have this time be the time that you say, enough is enough. I'm tired of living in mediocrity. I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of just living and not really thriving. I'm ready to know my true self. I'm ready to know that I'm naturally divine. I'm ready to embrace the truth of who I am. I am ready to know that my life is the life of God like I've never ever known it before. I'm ready to see other people as the life of God. I am ready to meet people right where they are. People who I have thought, oh no, not them. They're different. I'm ready to see all humanity, all life as naturally divine. I am ready to live the life that God has ordained for me to live. I'm ready. Get ready, beloveds. Get ready. Say yes. Take that step. Don't let this morning be wasted. Don't just come here to, oh, hi, how are you? No. No, go to the club for that. Have a drink, just go do something, have some coffee with some friends for that. This is about spiritual community and about holding one another accountable. This is about lifting each other up. This is about reminding ourselves of the truth of who we are. This is not the place where we get to pat you on the back or on the shoulder and say, oh yeah, you keep doing that. And it's going to get better. No, this is the place where we have practitioners who are praying and knowing the divine truth for each and every one of us. This is the place where we get inspired to live our best life. This is that place. This is your time. This is your call. Nature's calling. Don't let it go to voicemail. Nature's calling for you to be your divine self. Life is calling. Hello, wake up. It's my time. It is my time now. And a practice is simply a practice. I'm going to tell you these two things, and I'm going to be done for the day because I think you got it. But here's two things about a practice. How many of you really, really thought about brushing your teeth this morning? You just did it. It's just part of your life now. Why? Because when you were yay tall and some teeth started coming in, some wonderful people started teaching you how to brush your teeth and how many times a day and all of that good stuff. And today, you brush your teeth, probably in your sleep. As you're waking up. I know I use brushing my teeth as my time to sing a little ditty and remind myself of the truth of who I am. You want to hear it? Yeah, sure. I am healthy and wealthy and sexy and wise. I am healthy, wealthy, sexy and wise. I am healthy and wealthy and sexy and wise. I am healthy, wealthy, sexy and wise. I am healthy. I am healthy and wealthy and sexy and wise. I am healthy, wealthy, sexy and wise. I remind myself of my natural divine self. I'm calling it forth. I don't let brushing my teeth be just brushing my teeth. I utilize that. Yes, absolutely. We are all divine. My life is divine. And lastly, let me tell you about what I observed today. I observed, not each and every one of you, because I didn't see each and every one of you sit in your chair. But I observed even the musicians. They got up here and they just plopped themselves down and got ready. You did the same thing. You came, you found a chair you wanted to sit in, and you sat in it. Is it possible that you trust that chair more than you trust God? A lot of times we want to say, oh yeah, but I don't know if God can handle this. But you didn't even check out the integrity of the chair. Is this chair going to hold me up? Is this chair leveled? Ooh, no. But you do that with God or with life or your problems, your situations. I don't know. This problem might be a little bit too big for God to handle. So let me tell you, right here and right now, examine that. Are you trusting a chair more than you trust God? Because it's time to tell your problems how big your God is, instead of telling God how big your problems are. Remember, beloveds, that you are naturally divine. You are part of the divine order of all of life. We're not better than or less than. We are the unique and unrepeatable way that God shows up in human form. That's who I see. That's who I see when I look out at you, and that's who I see when I look in the mirror. And when I live from this place of recognizing that I am naturally divine and capable of creating, then what I want to create everywhere I go is a loving and joyful atmosphere. For this and so much more, I give thanks. Let this word be my prayer. And so it is.